Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we are finishing our BMW Bentley Continental budget race car build, and we're taking it to Race Lemons. Today's episode is packed with people flying off of the track and us power pulling down the back straight at 130 plus miles an hour. Now this whole thing got started when the guys over at Lemons were silly enough to make a loophole that they didn't think anybody would take them up on. Bring any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit on it and it gets budget immunity. I just so happen to be that guy that has a Bentley body laying around that is dinged up enough to really qualify for Lemons contention, and I take rules lightly, so Chrysler, BMW, basically interchangeable. Had an abandoned BMW sitting around for 2 years. It's time to get to work. We took the BMW, we pulled the body off of it, preparing for the Chrysler body to get on it. We caged it to Lemon spec. We drove it down the street and went, whoa, that's fast. And then I said, hey, it looks like a car. And that brings us to current time, the mad scramble. I made a bit of a scheduling error. We should have stayed up and worked all night. Instead, we went home and went to sleep. Not because we were lazy, because we actually genuinely thought we had the time. When I woke up at 6 in the morning, I realized we did not. I called everybody back to the shop as fast as we could get there, and we got cranking. I got the tow hooks installed. We are working on things that need to be done, that need a welder, that we cannot do in New Jersey. The sunroof cannot be an open hole. You can't have a single hole bigger than 1/2 of an inch for a sunroof. All sunroofs at Lemons that are handmade look like garbage, and I didn't want ours to look like garbage. So we tried to make one that didn't look like garbage. We got about halfway through and said, damn, this looks like garbage. So we cut half of it off and took the tiny little bit of separated metal that we had left to fill out a portion right above the driver's head, and I ran down to Target as fast as I could. At this point, we have less than an hour before the tow truck shows up. Ran down to Target, bought a stainless steel garbage can because it's relatively the shape of a roof scoop. Or at least that's what I told myself. Now, roof scoops are really great at Lemons because you can't have air conditioning in the race car. It just will not operate at that high of an RPM. So the roof scoop is a really good way to funnel air directly at your driver. And with the evolution of our trash can roof scoop from year 1 to year 2, this one was actually a huge help. The next big thing is getting that rear wing on. Now, we had done no work to get this rear wing on so far. So I started looking at width of the wing, where we're gonna put it, doing a little bit of cardboard aided design. We knew it needed to be mounted straight to the chassis, and we could not mess around. This thing had to be on there as solid as we could possibly get it. If your wing is all sloppy and falling around, they're not gonna let you race with it. So we're using 1/4 inch thick steel plate wing arms that we're gonna weld straight to the chassis. The only issue is we didn't have enough of it. So Zane got really creative with the plasma cutting and made me one single piece and one 3-piece that I then welded together into a single piece. Threw a coat of black spray paint on them, and we're letting those dry. While we're letting those dry, it's some eBay special front splitter action. We're just putting all the fun aero stuff on here that we can to make the car look a little bit more aggressive and more fun. Once those parts are dry, we're throwing some bolts on them. At this point right here, the tow truck driver called me and told me he is out front waiting for us. So we are scrambling, put some cross supports in there, threw the trunk lid on, and packed the car while this is going on. You can see extra wheels going in there and everything that we need to install when we're in New Jersey. This is not yet a race-ready car, but it sure looks the part. We're off to New Jersey.
We will run over 1,000 rivets. Yeah, dude. In the nick of time.
But before we go to Jersey, we gotta stop in New York. I decided to kind of hood test my friends a little bit and see how many people would die in Brooklyn. Turns out we all made it back and accidentally got an Airbnb in front of a chicken shop. Why is it that every corner shop in New York too is not just chicken, but also coffee and Greek food and salads and pizzas? On the West Coast, we have a rule. If you serve everything, you make nothing good. And this place holds up to that rule. Next morning, it's off to Times Square to do some touristy stuff. Can you guess who took whose photo? You're welcome, Zane. And no, I'm not actually twice as tall as Oscar. That is called lens distortion. Don't let that one catch you in the bedroom. Now, at this point, we're kind of just goofing off because the car hasn't been delivered to New Jersey yet. It's actually been delayed twice, and I'm really worried that the car won't even be here in time for the race. So we got pizza. And then we found this ball thing that looks like the ball that drops during New Year's, and we thought, maybe is it halfway down because we're halfway through the year? And I don't know, but maybe I'll ask a couple 100,000 people and they'll know. And then we're off to Jersey in our Honda Odyssey rental van that oddly drove itself. And thanks to Aaron from Chris Fix's team, our car is at the racetrack waiting for us. He did get pulled over driving it to the racetrack, but luckily we do our due diligence. We had registration, we had insurance. The cop was very impressed with our build quality, and he let Aaron go. Some of that story might be fabricated. So we're taking a look around at the car and we're noticing that the tow truck did do some damage. These shippers had about 2 brain cells and they ripped the whole front bumper in half again, just in a different direction. But more importantly, they put the wheel at full lock into part of the cutoff clearance section and just drove it around like that and literally destroyed a set of tires. Now we have no extra tires. We have only enough tires to be able to run a race, and these tires will no longer pass tech. So today is Friday. The race starts on Saturday, but there is a test and tune day at the tracks. We paid money to be able to test and tune, and that's what I plan on doing. We borrowed a set of tires from Chris Fix, threw them on the car, and we had to do everything that we needed to get done now to be able to go on track, to pass track tech, not lemon tech, but the New Jersey Motorsports Park technical inspection. So that means 4 decent tires. You need numbers on your vehicle, which you can see our number is 404. You need the lightning bolt to show where the kill switch is on the outside, and you need foam over your roll cage. We got all that done, drove into, that's Lemon's tech. So once they started trying to do a BS inspection on me, I said, oh wait, no, wrong thing. We don't have time for this. We gotta go see if the car even works. We're out of here. So we just drove out, and then we drove around, and then we just kind of parked it here in the back and said, hey, New Jersey Motorsport Park people, can you please tech inspect our car? And they were kind enough to do that right here in the parking lot, and we passed with flying colors, and we are allowed to go on the track. Now, we had some notes when Aaron was driving the vehicle last that it was really smoky, and it wasn't smoky back home. We don't know why it was smoky. And that it was misfiring and dropping a cylinder. And it did not do that back home either. So we needed to get it out on track as fast as possible to try and see what we're dealing with here. I got suited up and started heading out, and the car was doing what we called the smoke show. It was smoking so bad, everybody had a comment about it, but I thought, you know what, we're not leaking oil and we're not losing oil. So I don't know what this is. We're not dropping oil. I think this is condensation or something. I want to get it out on the track and see what happens when this car is warmed up. But as soon as I pulled up, the track had a different idea. You can see I'm getting black flagged from 100 feet away from the track entry. I started wondering, am I on fire? Why is this guy so adamant that I need to turn around and go away right now? I was actually a little bit worried.
Yeah, I can't let you out, bro.
Okay.
You gotta go figure that out.
But it turns out he was just so disturbed by the amount of smoke coming out of the exhaust. He had no faith that we wouldn't go out there and oil down the track. So we're turned away, we're told we can't race, and we need to go fix it. This unknown problem, we're told we gotta go fix, and we're not allowed to race until we do so. And my heart has just sank. I feel like we might not even get to race this weekend. I think while I'm turning around here, now is a great time to travel a little bit in the future and tell you about how this episode is sponsored by Avalon King. This car's on a super tight timeline for coming right off of a tow truck straight into a race. So the proper application here is their Armor Shield Light. It's a fast ceramic spray that gives great results. And you see just one here in my hand, but there's about 25 other in that box. That's right, Avalon King sent out stuff for us to give to you fans of the track. So it was so nice to see you guys at the track, and for myself and Avalon King, we wanted to hook you guys up. So thank you so much for coming and saying hi. Avalon King threw you guys hats, shirts, and ceramic coating spray for your car. So this Armor Shield Light is a spray on and wipe off application, and it shows amazing results instantly. I'm gonna be taking this with me to SEMA, to Cars and Coffees, to races, and using it in the shop. It is some amazing stuff, and I feel like it's really great in a pinch when you don't have time to do the full Armor Shield ceramic coating, which we just did on my Lamborghini, and the results speak for themselves. You can see the water test. It creates this wonderful hydrophobic, dirt phobic ceramic coating that keeps your car looking shiny and beautiful. It's like wax on steroids. It gives your car this glass-like shine and a hydrophobic surface that makes it super, super easy to clean and maintain. And it protects your car from all types of like dirt and weather and elements for 2 to 5 years. Avalon King guarantees the first 2 years. The results really show for themselves. And as you can see, it's extremely easy to apply. It's designed for hobbyists, car enthusiasts, DIYs, but it's also trusted by many, many professionals. You cover all the hard surfaces on your vehicle, including windows, lights, plastics, and chrome. And the nanotechnology seals all the surface pores and cures to a hardened, glossy shield.
I set this on the hood. It's so slick now. It won't stay. That's actually really crazy, dude.
And the Armor Shield kit contains everything that you need to achieve a professional finish that typically costs over $1,000.
I'm honestly very surprised by how amazing those results are. It's quite hydrophobic, it's quite slick, it'll be protective, and it made the car look so much better and shinier on the wrap and on the paint especially. That paint became a mirror.
Water doesn't even stick to it.
Oscar's always wanted to do that. So huge thanks to Avalon King for sponsoring this episode and sending us out to Lemons. We couldn't do it without you. This trip was really made possible by Avalon King. So guys, there's a link in the description. This stuff is really, really honestly worth a try. Guys, go hit that link in the description and let me know what you think about it. I think you're gonna be really, really happy with it. So at this point, I'm heartbroken and turning around and heading back to the pits and wondering how you stop a mysterious smoking issue that you have no understanding of the cause whatsoever. Within the next 2 hours gets you on track, maybe. Within the next day gets you into the race, and if you don't fix it within the weekend, you don't get to race at all. After getting back into the pit and talking with the guys for a little bit, we don't think it's oil. We see a lot of condensation, a lot of water coming out of the exhaust. We were running E85 premium mix on this thing to hit high horsepower numbers. Now, we thought we ran all of that fuel out of the tank and filled it up with premium years ago, but maybe not. Maybe we didn't. Maybe this whole time we didn't have a blown turbo that we needed to change out. Maybe we just had water in our gas tank. So the fuel gauge was near empty. I thought, let's give this a try. We fill the car up with premium all the way, and I just head out of the track and start driving. I didn't even have to make it that far. I got about to the entry of the track and the car stopped smoking. So what this tells me is the smoke wasn't really smoke, it's condensation. It's water in the gas tank, probably introduced by the E85 mix that we did years ago and by letting it sit for so long. Really bad fuel. Just needed to run that bad fuel out and get into the good fuel, and we're set. I went and grabbed my gear, told the guy I fixed the car. Trust me, I fixed it, and I'm out on track. I'm pushing the car a little bit, but I'm not making it very far before the car has a misfire. Misfire cylinder. The ECU notices that the cylinder is misfiring and throws the car into limp mode, and then I gotta find my way off this track. I actually did not have any idea where the exit was. It took me a while to get off the track. Once I made it back to the pits, we're looking at the coils. That is one of the most common elements of these cars that have issues, is the coils. So we're swapping coils from the back to the front to see if that changes anything, to see if the cylinder changes the misfire, if it follows the coil. And I'm back out on track, and very, very quickly, boom, car's in limp mode once again. The cylinder misfire followed the coil, meaning it is a bad coil. So we pulled all of our coils out, ran down to the auto parts store, bought 6 new coils, and cleaned the walls all around there. We had some oil built up in the wall, probably from when we did the turbo swap, that could have been fouling things as well. We cleaned everything up the best we could and changed all 6 of those coils, and it was time to go street drive now because the track is officially closed. Something is wrong indeed. Now we have a JB4 piggyback tuner here, but it was set to base tune, meaning no input on the car whatsoever. It should be the stock tune. I just did a pull at 70% throttle from a stop, and when it was in the second gear, the whole back end walked out on me. And the traction control caught it and kept me straight, but that shouldn't be happening in a stock E92 BMW. My butt dyno was telling me as well that something is going on causing this car to be way more powerful than it should be without that piggyback tuner having any input on the car. So I brought it straight back, and it's not that the piggyback tuner is inherently a bad thing. It'd be a great thing to be able to use on this race if we wanted more power. Not that we needed it, but right now we're having reliability difficulties, and jacking up the horsepower a bunch more is not gonna help us have a more reliable car. So we're in the pits, we're pulling the JB4 tuner out, resetting the car all the way back to stock. And it's good. Okay, we've got the car into a reasonable driving mode. The smoke is going away once we heat it up. So they should let us on track if we just warm the car up. It is no longer throwing the misfiring, and the boost is controllable, and it feels like a 300 horsepower car, which is plenty fast for where we're at. So now it's time to get the rest of the car done. We have to fully decal this thing out. We're gonna Avalon King it in the morning. We need to install the wiring for our air pumper that goes into the helmet, for our communication system, build our communications base system, and our cool suit. That's all the wiring projects that need to be done. And then we've got new steel braided brake lines and brake pads and brake fluid to get in this baby. Let's get to work. Unfortunately, night fell before I could film it, but the guys over at ECS hooked us up with some Turner Motorsports steel braided brake lines and performance brake pads that were a huge game changer for this car. As you can see, we could outbrake anybody on this track at any position that we needed to. And especially with 130 mile an hour back straight, it was the biggest leg that we had up on the competition. It wasn't skill, it was just we can go really fast and we can stop better than everybody else as well. It's the best braking that we've ever had on one of these budget race cars by far. So huge thanks to Turner Motorsports for hooking us up with this. We really do appreciate it, and link is going to be in the description. So like I said, brakes overnight. When morning came, it's time to do some final details, like finally vinyl wrapping our sunroof and roof scoop, getting the rest of the decaling on the car, getting our race wheels and tires on that aren't shredded. If you're keeping track now, we only have one set left to last us for a whole endurance race, which is not great. And some quickie plastic eBay canards just to really finish off the front bumper look. Finish zip tying our front bumper back together from the tow truck damage, and no decals and Avalon King before Lemon's BS inspection. You want a hot tip? Don't put real sponsored logos and a shiny ceramic coating on your car before you head to BS inspection to tell them it's a budget race car.
This is from your Instagram. Your eBay Motors Find of the Week comes with complete budgetary immunity. If your best offer doesn't land this one, consider bringing any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit on it. This is a loophole we're happy to have exploited over and over again. Now, it is more BMW-ish than the rules would state. What you will see is where every piece of our, that's Chrysler, every piece of our Bentley body kit is attached, it is attached to a Chrysler product. We bought 38 Chrysler wheel center caps, and everywhere that the Bentley body kit is attached, it is attached to a Chrysler product, thus putting a Bentley body kit on any Chrysler product. It did not say that you couldn't attach that Chrysler product to a BMW. So we were hoping to loophole the loophole. It also barely runs. We couldn't get a whole lap in yesterday.
I mean, I appreciate some good rules lawyering, even though, you know, this is BS inspection. We completely have the ability to call bullshit when you...
It does say that on the website, yeah.
Yeah. The hard work at playing an angle.
Yeah. We spent like, you know, several hundred hours doing something stupid to come to Lemons.
And you built this in your usual way in like
eight days.
Months at a time, right?
8 days to do this. We spent zero time. We test drove it for 20 minutes, and then we showed up to the race. It did not work at all. We've not gotten a lap done without going into limp mode. So, yeah, as standard BS for Build fashion, we tried to make it look cool for 8 days and then drive right for 8 hours yesterday. Thank you.
I am not going. You are up shit creek without a paddle already.
Yeah.
Thing, as we can see.
Let's see, and get a shot at the amount of condensation that keeps coming out of our gas tank. That's not great.
That's ungood, I would say.
It's just water. I mean, it's just water. I was daring to drink it yesterday. It was so clear, but it's not coming from our coolant, so we think it's coming from the fuel tank.
This isn't attached. I'm going to say you have 1, 2, 3, 4 attachment points that are unpriced. I should give you 4 penalty laps as a consequence, but I think you're going to be struggling to get 4 laps out of it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be back after lap 2.
So I will show you the leniency of the considerate cowboy.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I will give you no laps, and may God have mercy on
I will
your soul.
bring beer and pornography.
All right. I mean, you're speaking right to our Texas instincts. The over-under on this for the weekend, let's say 49 laps.
49 laps. Oscar, you hear that? Lemons judges think that the ballpark over-under is we complete 49 laps. Last year we completed 300.
Yeah, we completed
320.
300 with a car that was complete and hadn't been cut up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we got a goal. We have a goal. Chris is going for 400. We're going for 46 or more.
Yeah.
Is that what we said? Yeah.
I don't think anybody else bringing an E90 is ever going to drive through this loophole ever again. And we will probably also close this loophole, if not
I had a
mentally.
feeling we might get this loophole closed.
So
That's a moment of pride.
This is the one and only time this loophole will ever be exploited.
I like it. I like it. We closed the loophole, boys.
There it is.
Pontiac Aztec next year.
There you go.
All right, Class A, 0 penalty laps. That was our goal for the build. Now we have to race it.
Good luck.
Actually,
You're going to need it.
We did it. That was my goal with this build, is build an absolute rocket of a race car that has the mechanical edge on the rest of the playing field while being able to sneak in with 0 penalty lap. It was a absolute ton of work, but the people at Lemons, the other drivers driving against us, the crew of Lemons, the judges, they absolutely loved it. We hung out drinking beers, BSing over this build halfway through the night, and I'm really proud of that. So now it's time for decals and Avalon King ceramic coating. This is where that actually fits in the timeline.
It's about time to start racing. As you guys heard, the Lemons guys think we're gonna make 46 laps at best. We're really hoping to do better, but I mean, I was up at 5:30 this morning rinsing on the car once again. We've got it to a good spot. I'm gonna suit up, get on track, turn some laps, see how this car's doing. There was also some talk last night. The Lemons guys think our first pit stop will be 2 laps in, so that's the benchmark. Strapping them in. Chris, you starting the race?
Always.
I'll see you out there. I'm starting the race as well.
Awesome, dude.
Lemons guys deemed us 46 laps for the event, so that's what they think we're gonna get. You're going for 400? All right. My goal 350.
Okay.
We'll see you out there.
Yeah.
It's the moment of truth. You can see on the clock to the right, it's 10:03. We missed the start time by just 3 minutes, but that's good enough for Lemons, and we're getting out on track.
Lean forward for me real quick. The car looks fucking fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. Let's hope it actually gets a lap.
Go have fun, make good choices.
Thank you.
Now from here on out, things are gonna progress really, really fast. We are one driver and teammate down at this race, which I'll explain at the end of the race. And I honestly could not keep up with everything that was going on, but we did shoot some really, really awesome behind the scenes footage that we partnered with Driving Line on. And it really shows a lot more of my thoughts about the race and what's going on at the race. It's just some really awesome, good stuff. So that's over on their YouTube channel. We got a series of shorts that are coming out now. So make sure you head over to their YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description and check it out. It was a really fun project that we did with Driving Line. I'd love to do more in the future. So I'm getting a feel for the track and the car and where I can apply the power safely. The last time I drove this thing was in the Mercedes, and I got to do 1 hour on this track at the end of the race. I don't know if you saw last year's video, but I had cancer treatment to do and I had a friend's funeral to go to. So I took the red eye out to the race and just raced the last hour, and it was a really amazing thing to be able to do. And that also led into kicking off a really cool charity project in my friend's honor, and I want to give you guys an update about that at the end of this episode, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So at this point, the car is cold and it's lapping well, and it's basically doing everything that it's supposed to do perfectly. It's great. This is how it's supposed to look on the back straight. I'm not the best driver, but this is the most powerful car on track, and you floor it, everybody else just starts to go away. This is when the car has boost. We're able to go faster and stop faster than everybody else on the track. Now, we're not the best drivers, so it doesn't really mean much, but that's how it looks when the car is working well. After the car warmed up, this is how it starts to look on the back straight. The car is not liking its oil temperatures. They're basically too hot and is throwing like a ghost limp mode. It's not telling me that the car is in limp mode, but it is. So I'm flooring it through the back straight here. I have no boost whatsoever, and it is pulling timing. So really, really slow cars are sticking with me through the back straight. And that was the unfortunate reality of the rest of my stint at the car, just driving it in some weird form of limp mode. Now, it did give me a slower car that gave me the ability to practice and learn the track a little bit better and become a better driver rather than just overpowering every situation. But our game plan for gaining time on Team Chris Fix was to drive faster than Team Chris Fix. And at this point, our car is actually slower than a stock E46, naturally aspirated. After an hour and a half in the car, the fuel is empty. So this car can go from full to empty in 1.5 hours, and that is a long driving stint, and it's time for a driving change. So you're gonna see me driving up to the gas station here. Being a driver down, we could not hot pit at this race, so we are at the mercy of the gas station, which is a bummer. But you pull in, you jump out, no one can be in the car. Oscar is right behind me here. We're jumping out. Once we're both out of the car, we can fuel up, and then we throw the new driver in. As long as there's nobody in line behind us, throw the new driver in, strap them in, and send them on their way. Now right about here, I'm sorry we weren't able to film it. We got the car fueled up, we got Oscar in it, and he went to hit start, and the car did not start. We had a battery related issue. We had to push the car all the way back to the pits, unbolt the trunk lid, and get to work. By the time we got the vehicle fixed and Oscar back in the vehicle, it was a 47-minute pit stop, unfortunately.
We just lost a lot of time there. Chris's team did not hot pit though, so I mean, they did come in and do a full driver change, but we lost a lot of time if we're trying to keep up with them.
But we got it done, and we got Oscar back out on the track. Now, Oscar drives a little bit differently than me. He was using the automatic mode where I was paddle shifting. He's using a lot higher gears. That was keeping the engine a lot cooler, so his driving style was easier on the engine, and he was able to drive in boost for a lot longer before experiencing these limp modes, which is really, really good. And before too long,
Oscar, you've officially finished the 46th lap, proving the Lemons judges wrong. go for 320.
So at this point, our 49 lap goal has become 46, but we blew away 49 as well right after that. And 350 laps became 320. And Oscar became at the gas station. We're waiting for the car to get refueled. He's suiting down, I'm suiting up. It's time for me to go drive. And everything's going pretty normally, but really early into my stint, a Honda blows up in front of me, complete catastrophic engine failure, and oils down the track. Luckily, I was off the correct driving line, because I suck, and I didn't hit any of that oil, but check out the BMW behind me. Now, I'm not driving at any edge of any limit at all. But when this BMW gets introduced to even a tiny bit of oil, he drifting. Apparently this oil down sent about 4 to 5 different cars off of the track.
Status update. I just finished my second drive of the day. Felt like I did like almost 2 hours in there. I think it was like a little over an hour and a half. So what Oscar and I are doing is we fill up the car and then just drive it till it's empty. What's happening though is the car's overheating. Probably need an extra oil cooler that we don't have. So it's not like overheating, but the engine oils are getting high. And then what that happens then is the ECU, that fancy modern ECU, pulls timing and doesn't give us any boost. So it is literally like a 150 horsepower difference between when the engine is cool and happy and when it's really not happy. It's really weird because sometimes you'll be like in the middle of a corner and the engine will just say, oh, I'm happy. And then you'll just get full boost and start flying through the corner and you can break the back wheels loose and stuff like that. But no excuses. We don't need any excuses. 0 penalties so far. We're lapping, we're driving, we're keeping the laps under 2 minutes. The next big thing that's going to delay us a lot from Chris's thing is we went to the gas station and literally closed. The guy's not there. There's no gas to be had. Adrian, any gas update? The pump is stopped. They said we could pump it ourselves and we can't. It's in New Jersey. They have stupid laws. And yeah, they said we could pump it, but it's shut off. So we're just dead in the water now. So that's a bummer. That one's really out of our hands. Not a lot we can do about that other than be sour. But Oscar's getting behind the wheel. Let's see how he does.
So I drove my stint. Oscar was a champion of dealing with the gas. Between our breakdown and our gas issue, this puts us an hour of track time down from Team Chris Fix, which is really unfortunate. But eventually he gets fueled up and he's back on the track, turning great laps, having a blast to finish out day 1 of the 24 hours of lemons. Woo! At this point, we are in the top third of the competition. Chris Fix is in the top quarter of the competition.
Day of lemons! Yeah, congrats, man. 1 day in the books.
That was a good day.
That was a tough day. Just 2 people. Let's do more drive. You want to do more drivers tomorrow?
I would like more drivers, yeah.
Let's get all the drivers out tomorrow.
So start day 2, we got Oscar behind the wheel for his first drive. We finally got his helmet cam dialed and he's out and then he's in. In pit road for the old car resets because we misfired a cylinder and the ECU drops that cylinder. You turn the car off, you turn the car back on, it'll give you that cylinder back. Car's too hot, it's unhappy with something. Back on track, the car's seemingly okay. Could have been a fluke, don't really know. Don't know what's causing this misfire at this point. It shouldn't be from the temps. They don't look like they're that high. And Oscar witnesses this amazing slide out by this Honda Civic. That team was really, really nice and they were great drivers and very fun to drive with. And everybody was okay at the end of that slide out. It was just pretty impressive to watch. So is this. Oscar pulling 130 plus miles an hour down the back straight. That was the record for this vehicle.
All right, guys, Oscar's back, unfortunately, pretty fast. We only went through about a quarter tank of gas to get our start off. And we got a misfire in cylinder 1, coil 1, which is this guy right here. So we swapped it out for one of our old coils from the original build. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a stint behind the wheel. There's a half a tank of gas. If all goes well, I'll run that out and we'll see how far that gets us. A lot of this is just gonna be temperature dependent. It's very, very hot today. So it's hot for the drivers, hot for the car. That's probably what's causing our issues. But I'll try and be easy on it. I'm gonna use a lot of 4th gear where I usually use a lot of 3rd gear. And I'll just try and drive it cold or cooler. Let's get to it.
I have no idea how I can literally just say I'm gonna drive this car slow and then get it on the track and not drive it slow at all. But it's this feeling of once you get the boost back, you're like, where was this car the whole time? It's so much fun. I wanna drive it around in boost the whole time. And then you totally forget, oh yeah, it's not super happy and it's not gonna let you do this for long.
Back in the pit. I did about 5 laps, maybe, and driving with full boost, having a great time, and then car went into full limp mode, definitely lost a cylinder. Well, it lost a cylinder, it didn't go in limp mode, it just lost a cylinder and you could feel it, and you don't really have any power when that happens.
I jinxed it.
Yeah. So we scanned scanned it obviously a couple minutes ago, and we're gonna scan it again and see what's going on. It could be that we have severely impacted the venting and the airflow by having a hood shaped like it is, although this is really similar to kind of what BMW's got going on here. So I don't know if that's an excuse for BMW engineering or not, but let's find out what the problem is before we think about it for too much longer. Ran the scanning tool. It's still cylinder 1 that's having an issue, which makes us think it's not heat, because usually back in there you're gonna collect more heat. It probably happened back there. It's not gonna happen in the one with the most ventilation twice. So I think it's an issue with our cylinder 1. We're gonna start fiddling with stuff and see if we can improve it in any way.
So we can't find a socket.
Yeah, we'd love to check our spark plug, but we don't have a spark plug socket. So it's time to make one. Charlie right here saw we were in trouble, ran down to the hardware store for us and bought this 14 deep. Now it's not thin enough wall, but Chris Fix's team has a angle grinder with a flap disc, so it soon shall be shallow enough.
It'll be thin.
Or not shallow, but thin.
It might be too thin.
Oscar, do your magic. All right, there's our plug.
Ooh, it is hot.
Doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Uh-oh. Aaron, anything look wrong to you there?
Honestly, it looks pretty fine. Right?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking too. I'm not seeing any.
All of this is from running Rich earlier.
Yeah.
With the tune.
Porcelain looks,
It looks
good
okay.
Yeah.
You could bend it a little closer. Just tap it with a hammer or something.
Well, we got a fresh new plug.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, we got the new spark plug in. We got a different spark tube. So this is the third one that we're essentially testing out now. And it is time. There's spark tubes, leaky spark tubes. It's a BMW thing.
That's cool though.
Spark tube. All right, it's time to go drive her around the track. I'm gonna get suited up, get back out there. I was honestly having a lot of fun out there, so I want to spend as much time out there as I can today. Sometimes the track is a little sometimes it's uncomfortable, sometimes you're just not in the mood. Today, that's my happy place.
I'm back out and I'm driving and I'm trying to feel for where I'm gonna lose the cylinder, what's going on, and you can hear it right here. It's so peaky, it almost sounds like gravel hitting the bottom of the car or something, but it happens in 2 little points there in 3rd gear. You can see on the clock on my right, it's 2 o'clock now. The race ends at 3:30, so there's an hour and a half left. I have a full tank of gas. So if I can learn how to drive this car around in 4th gear and keep it from braking, we can finish the race. So that is my new goal, because I wasn't hearing that misfire sound at all in 4th gear. So I'm gonna stick it in 4th gear. It's gonna be a slow drive, but at least we're gonna finish the race. Now in any tight corner, the 4th gear, I'm bogging out of the exit, so I'm essentially losing position. But driving in 4th gear is also keeping the oil temperatures cool enough that the car is enabling boost for me. So on the straightaways, I'm a frickin' rocket. The problem is I can't exit the straights the right way. Notice that Miata that just spun off on the right there? Check this out. It's 2:28 on the clock. They go in for the penalty box for their spin off, and then it's 3:02. They're already back on the track, crashed so far out on the left, and they're driving around with a broken control arm. I would say if you're crashing that often at Lemons, you might want to let off the throttle a little bit. They're a perfectly polite driver to be with, but I mean, should have a sense of self-preservation at some point. At this point, I'm learning the track well enough, and I'm learning the 4th gear in this car well enough. I'm getting my times down to, well, how I was in limp mode the day before. They're respectable times though. I'm running basically the same time as Chris Fix's team, which I am super happy with. They're better drivers on this track. We had a faster car on this track, but then again, our car didn't work, so why does that matter? Anyways, blasting down the straight, so much fun in 4th gear. I was letting off at about 125, 126 miles an hour most times because I just wanted to get the car to the finish line. You can see at the clock, it's 3:27. A couple minutes later, we are on the last lap, and I see Chris Fix pull up right in front of me, and I give him the wave. I say, there's a little opening. I want you to take that opening, and then I'm gonna jump right in behind you, and we're gonna finish this race together. We bomb the back straight together to finish in sequence. Chris Fix in front of B is for Build. It's so much fun to be able to get out there and race with my friends. They gave us so much help and support throughout this weekend. It was such a cool thing to be able to finish. I mean, it's definitely not like 1-2. They did, 100 laps more than us. But to be able to finish with them was a really cool experience.
Oh my God, you guys, we did it. We finished another 24 hours of Lemons. New car, huge technical difficulties, but we did it. It feels so good to finish Huge thanks to Avalon King for bringing us out here. The ceramic coating is fantastic. Had a ton of stuff go up on the windshield. Just hit my windshield wipers and all the crap just flew off. The ceramic coating, we are slick as a baby's bottom, and it's really, really good. And just huge thanks to them for supporting us on this journey. We had such an amazing time. We finished in about middle of the pack. Even with all of our technical issues, we finished about middle of the pack, which I'm really, really proud of. I also want to go say hi to Chris and his team. They did a phenomenal job, ran what we were basically considering a perfect race, and it got them a hell of a position. I think they got 14th or 15th place, and they had a goal of 400 laps. Spoiler alert. Hey Chris, other guys here. Hey man, congratulations dude. You guys did it, 400 laps, huh?
407.
So cool.
laps.
So cool. And we got to finish right next to each other.
That was cool.
Who was out there driving?
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, that was fun.
He had
That
to
was
finish
fun.
it up. That was like his thing.
Congrats guys, you guys ran an amazing race.
Thank you.
You guys did really well. You got a little lucky. Next year we're coming for you once again.
Sounds good to me.
In the end, we learned a lot from this race. Chris's team actually had 2 driving issues that could have resulted in penalties, but they didn't. And we drove totally fine the whole race with no penalties. But even if they would have served their 2 penalties and we wouldn't have broken down at all, they still probably would have beat us. And that's the learning part here for us. Chris had a phenomenal team with really great people that were super attentive, and everybody played their part magnificently. And I think that's the real key to success here. You may have noticed that we were a driver or 2 short this race. Jared from Questionable Garage was our 3rd driver, but he had a medical issue and he couldn't make it. And Jared's not only an amazing driver, but he's also an amazing teammate. And not having him does leave a Jared-sized hole in the team. So my next ideal try would be to have a healthy Jared and a pit mechanic / hot pit crew member, and that'll remove our need to use the gas station. And once we can hot pit, I think we can stay competitive with Chris and his team. My favorite part of this car is the part that I stole off the other car because it was so good. It's my big B is for Blanquita wing. This is my tribute to my friend who passed away, and I was at her funeral while this race was happening last year. Let's jump into it. Yeah, I seem to have gotten on the wrong flight and ended up in the south of France. So weird how that works sometimes. Anyways, yeah, last time that race, I missed 90% of the race because I was at my friend Blanche's funeral. She was just an absolute angel who died of brain cancer at 30 years old. It was a really tough time for me as well because I was going through cancer and cancer treatments a day before the funeral. Quick update on me. Everything's fine so far. We're in a testing phase. We're gonna be testing for the next 5 years, hopefully, and then they'll give me the stamp of approval. But anyways, we rocked that B is for Blanquita on our rear wing because her nickname in Guatemala was Blanquita. She was an amazing person who introduced me to a lot of amazing people and taught me a lot of amazing things. And she loved helping out the communities in Guatemala. So in her honor, we started a laptop fund to help a charity in a village out in Guatemala equip their staff, equip their students, and equip their scholarship students with laptops. As I learned more about this project, I became really, really involved on it. We had this goal of getting 100 laptops. We were doing really well. I'm hearing stories of these students literally doing their exams, sitting outside places that have Wi-Fi on their cell phones doing their exams because they don't have access to computers. And the younger students aren't learning computers because there are just none available. My friend said quite frankly that if you could provide 100 plus laptops for this village, it could change an entire generation. And I had a feeling that our community could possibly do that. The tech community and the auto community are like this. So I reached out, and boy did you guys provide. So at this point, we have over 150 laptops that have landed in Guatemala and are already creating a huge impact. And if my friends at Microsoft Central America are watching, which I hope you are, let's see if there's a way that we could link up and we could all get together and do something positive for that charity as well. Quick, wonderful update, guys. While I was editing this, one of the companies that had donated over half of the laptops thus far actually reached out and let me know that they have more laptops and they are willing to send those out. So we are going to smash that goal of 200 laptops. So thank you so much, Brian. And the company doing the donation is named Ultradent, and they make dental supplies. And I don't think as consumers we're really going to see their products on the shelves anywhere. But maybe you're at the dentist's office, maybe you're buying some specialty stuff. If you see that logo, just know that's a real cool company that did a really cool thing for a lot of people. So huge thanks to them for stepping up. And I'm overjoyed. Not to get too sappy or anything, but I know my friend Blanche would just be so proud. And I know her family is very proud. And a lot of our friend circle that's been a part of this project, we're all just very happy with how this thing came through. Success. Now, this is Monaco. I've been sick with what the doctors call one of the most radical cases of strep throat that they've ever seen. This is the first day I've been able to swallow water in 4 days. I'm gonna give my throat a rest, Go to that casino down there and play some poker. When we get home, the next video you're gonna see is looking like it's gonna be unveiling another car and another car build. It's the body that goes on the Tesla. So all you guys that watch the videos to the end, please back me up in the comments here. I don't think people are gonna understand. The next build is not a build, it's the body that goes on the Tesla Model 3 project that we've been working on. Oscar and Zane are heading home today, working on the camper truck and the yacht. Oh yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm doing yacht research, figuring out how many of these run on LSX engines. That one, I think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stateside. Peace!